There we go.
17th of May, Rabbi Levitt, Pele,
In
Yoetz.
progress. Okay. Okay, I sent a link also. Don't know if I saw that Lou already was in, but I sent a link.
Thank you.
So, okay. Where are we holding? We're holding by Chov. Holding by Chov. Oh, we were in the middle of taking a look at this Mishnah in Bava Metzia. We were learning Hilchas Shmirim, Shomrim.
Bava Metzia.
Yeah, except I don't. Oh, because it's not in the English translation edition. It's in my edition.
What page are we on in Pele, Yoetz?
Pele Yoetz, we were on. It's on 338, 339.
Uh-huh.
I'm just looking. I think it was Bava Metzia Lamed Dalet. It's the Mishnah over there. I think the Mishnah is the daf before that. Here we have Chov. Yeah, Bava Metzia Lamed Dalet.
Yeah, 334A.
Yeah, because this is we've had it's for he's mentioned this a few times over here, and I wanted to get it. I wanted to see it inside about the in the case of the somebody deposits an article by a person to watch it, so that person now has a din of a shomer, and what happens now when the article is stolen or lost. So he's talking about the case. It seems he's talking about the case of the Mishnah when the person when the shomer doesn't want to swear, that would exempt himself. But so he's going to pay. So I wanted to take a look at that din over here. So I'm going to go get my Gemara in Bava Metzia.
A.
Okay.
What? Right, let me see. 34.
ליבו לעשוס כל אשר בכוחו לעשוס לפרויה אס חויבו מעט מעט כשיוכל סייס בטרם יבוא הגבאים המחזירים תודיר ונפרוין מן האדם לדעתו ושלדעתו ומידס בזדין הצדק שמא השפורע אדם מרצונו הטוב Oh, so that's what we're going on over here. That's why he brought this. That's why he brought this case over here with the shomer.
The Mishnah's on 33b, 4, about halfway.
33 or 34?
The Mishnah itself is on 33b4,
Right.
and what we're looking at is it's on 34a1 on the right-hand column, halfway. The Mishnah stated.
Okay, so I'm just again to get to get the situation here, what the Pele Yoetz is talking about. He's talking about that the person who has the obligation, he owes the money. In an ordinary case, not a case of a shomer. He borrowed money or whatever the situation was. He owes money, and he can't pay it all at once, even though he's obligated right now. It's become due. The loan has become due, and he's supposed to pay the whole thing right now. But he can't do that. Whatever, and he's gonna pay a little by. He's gonna pay in installments, in tashlumim. That's what they say here in Eretz Yisrael. Everything is tashlumim. Oh, Mayor is coming in. Okay, so now what does this have to do with this Gemara in Bava Metzia? Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning. Good morning.
What it has to do is that he says that a proper bezdin should not put a burden on the debtor, but should accept that he'll pay back. He says of his own volition, and he'll count towards the payment of the full loan. And then he brings in parentheses, it's similar to the law of a watchman who was given a charge that was lost or stolen, and he preferred to pay and not to swear in the Bezdin. So, and the owner transfers to him the rights of the kefil and the daled v'het penalties because he did not trouble him to come to the Bezdin. So there's another aspect over here of not troubling the one that's owed the obligation to have to take him to Bezdin and haggle and traggle and taggle in the Bezdin with him. But he just says, look, I'm going to pay you, and I'm going to pay you, and but I don't have it all now, but I'll pay you back installments. Okay.
Uh-oh, we lost Roy.
No,
you?
lost
No,
the
we didn't. We
rabbi.
lost Lou.
Not Roy.
No. Oh, we lost Rabbi Levitt. Yay.
Don't panic, Mayor.
I think I did panic. Oh, here he comes back. Okay.
Rabbi Levitt, you are muted. We can see you, but cannot hear you.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Baruch Hashem, I got back. Okay. So it says in the Mishnah over here that says the Mishnah. Oh, that doesn't look like the Mishnah. Is that the Mishnah that we read? No, we were looking for a Mishnah where he's going to swear instead of.
That's on 33B.
Beginning of the parak. Mafkid etzel chavero. Behemo kelim. So so person one deposits to person number two an animal or some type of article, and v'nignava osha avda, and he it gets stolen or it gets lost. Shilem v'lo rotza lishava, and the shomer says he's gonna pay. He does pay, and he doesn't want to swear. That's the thing over there. Okay, and Rashi says over here, "V'lo rotzi lishava shvuas shomrim shelo pasha bo ushelo sholach bo yad shehayayocho lifto b'shvuas zu." Okay, so Rashi says that in this case, what the Mishnah is talking about is if this shomer wanted to exempt himself from any obligation in regard to this article that was stolen or lost from him, he could simply make a shvua shomrim. And what does it consist of? Two things. He has to swear that he was not posheya, meaning that he was not derelict in his obligation. He didn't do anything that was that ostensibly caused it to get lost. He didn't leave it in a place where it could get stolen. And he doesn't have it in his possession. He didn't literally send out his hand against it to take it somewhere. Okay, but he didn't want to make a shvua, and so instead of that, he paid for the item that was given to him to watch. Now, what happens in that case? Oh, then the Mishnah continues. Sharei Omru Shomer Chinam Nishba V'Yotze. Now they mention over here about a shomer chinam. That means a shomer who is not being paid to watch. He was just asked to watch this article, and he agreed to do so. So he's nishba v'yotze. He can swear and he's good to go. Nimsa haganav. If they do find the ganav who actually did steal this thing. So in other words, this is the ganav is found. Mishalem tashlumi kefel. He pays kefel, or if he was tavach u'machar, he's mishalem tashlumi arba b'chamisha. If he sold it, or after having stolen it, he sold it, or he shefted it, so he's got to pay a penalty of 4 and 5. Lemi mishalem. Who is it that he pays this penalty to? So who do you say that he pays it to? Who would you say? Pays it to the shomer. Lemisha hapikadon etzlo. He pays it to the one that the article was deposited to, and that is the shomer. Okay, and in the event that he does swear, nishba v'loy rotza l'shalem, if he swears and now he exempts himself, he doesn't have to pay for the article, doesn't have to pay for the animal, and he swore, Bezdin accepts his shvua, and he is exempt. Then if they find the ganav in that case, Mishalem Tashlumi Kefel, Tavach Amacha, Mishalem Tashlumai V'chamisha, Lemisha, who did they pay it to? The ganav?
The owner.
Lemi Mishalem Lebal Pikadon, to the owner of the article who deposited it by the shomer. So that's the din, what it says in the Mishnah. Okay, now the Gemara over here is on Lamed Daled, Amid Aleph, and it's by the 2 dots, about 14 lines down from the top of the page. And you got the Gemara has in the between the 2 dots the language of the Mishnah, Shilem v'lo rotza lishava v'chulei. So over here, we're going over here. And let's see what it says over here. If there's something over here that is pertinent to what the Pele Yoetz is saying over here. Amr Chia bar Abba, Amr Yochanan, Lo Shilem, Shilim Mamish, Ella Kevin Shal Amma Harenim B'Shalom, Afapisha Lo Shilem. Oh, okay. The Mishnah is not only talking where he actually has paid, but even if he states that he will pay, he commits to paying, even though he is not actually yet paid. This din, what it says in the Mishnah, will apply. And that if they do find the Ganav, even before the Shomer is paid, but he just volunteered and committed to yes pay, he'll also get the kefil and the dalad v'hei when they find the Ganav. Okay. Now, okay, all right, Beseder. Well, maybe we'll leave it for here. Leave it at that point. Any questions about that? So,
What's the relevance?
why did he bring it over here? That's what we were trying to figure out. Yeah, why did he bring it?
I think the chiddush here is that the shomer is making a profit from the article that doesn't belong to him.
Let's see let me see what it says in the Hebrew over here. Midas Bezdin had tzedek shemash poreya adam miritzono hatov hamaat ola lecheshbon gadol. That's the point that the Pele Yoetz is saying over here. Why he's bringing in this Gemara? It's the midah of a proper bezdin, a bezdin tzedek, the bedatz. What's bedatz stand for? Bezdin tzedek. It's not just a kashrus agency. It's a bezdin. It's a proper bezdin that judges cases, monetary cases, in a way of tzedek, in a way of justice. So what should they do? Masha pareya adam miritzono. This that a debtor who owes money, and he's willing to he's willing to play ball, as they say. He's willing to pay up, and he doesn't do so right away, but he commits to doing so as much as he can in tashlumim, in installments. Min ritzono hatov, he has a good rotzon, this guy, to do that, and the bezdin tzedek is going to reward him for doing that, and not trying to avoid his obligation by ritzono hatov hamaat ola lecheshbon gadol. They're gonna give him a break, and they're not going to take away his house. They're not going to take away his property. They're not going to they're gonna let him pay. They're gonna let him pay as it goes. and then it'll slowly eventually get to the amount that it's supposed to get. And it's regarded, so to speak, as though he has paid his obligation. That he's getting credit for the fact that he paid his obligation already, so to speak, with this commitment that he's making, that he is going to pay, as much as he possibly can every month, and eventually pay off the loan. So that's regarded as though he's done the whole thing, and we leave him alone. In other words, he's not considered to be derelict, even though he actually is, because he was supposed to pay the whole thing right now. So what is the connection between that and this Gemara over here? Yeah, I think it's like Lou said, that they brought this Gemara over here because we see that this was the situation with the shomer. The shomer said that instead of forcing the owner of the article to go with him to the Beis Din and have a whole long drawn out deal over here and make a shvua, and then the owner of the article comes away with nothing. In this case, he says he's just gonna pay it up, and the din is that's said in the Gemara over there is that he acquires the right to receive the kefil and the daled v'hei if and when they find the ganav. So it's sort of like he's bought the right to be the owner of the thing. And the added chiddush is that we saw from the Gemara that Rav Chia bar Abba said that even if the guy says he's going to pay, even if he doesn't pay yet, he gets the benefit of this thing, that if they do find the ganav is going to be having to give the kefil and the daled v'hei to the shomer, not to the owner. So we see even in the halacha, like what the Pele Yoetz is saying is the proper practice for the Beis Din.
So the chiddush is that saying you're going to pay is considered the same as actually paying.
Right, and that's one, and also that he's not standing against the creditor. He's not confronting. He's not trying to avoid his obligation. He's not trying to avoid his obligation. He's not. He says, "I'm gonna fulfill my obligation. I'm going to do it." So that's roughly similar to this shomer who, instead of swearing, is going to pay. So you see that you see that the owner transfers to the shomer the right to receive the kefil and the daled v'hei if they find the ganav. And the Pele Yoetz explains that the reasoning behind this din is because why? Is because he didn't trouble his creditor, the guy that deposited the article by him. He didn't trouble him in the Beis Din. That's what it says in the Hebrew over here. Delot mishum delot atreche b'vei dina. It's not really exactly like the English translation says. It it's not that he didn't trouble him to come to court, because presumably I understand that the shomer would have to make this commitment in the court. It has to be that he made a formal commitment in the court, and therefore, if he did that, so then the official halacha will be that the owner will transfer to the shomer the right to receive the kefil and the daled behei. Whereas if he just called him up on the phone and said, "Listen, don't worry, I'm going to pay. I'm not going to bother you to go to Beis Din with the shvua and oppose the my obligation or anything." I don't know. Maybe he would also get it, but I guess that's what the translator understands. But I understand that the Pele didn't say anything about not troubling him to come to court. He just said he's not going to trouble him in the Beis Din with being difficult and trying to avoid his obligation. Okay. Because really, if the like the Pele Yoetz said in the bottom of 339, if the guy who the lender, if the lender sees that the what's his name, that the borrower is he says if it's clear to him that the borrower has the cash or cash equivalent, real estate, movable possessions, and he really is able to pay back the loan, so then and he's not doing so, and he's avoiding his obligations and stonewalling, so then the Pele Yoetz says absolutely. Then the lender doesn't have any mitzvah to deal with him in a way of rachmanas. He could use everything that he has at his possession in his wherewithal to get the money out of him. He can force him in every manner according to Jewish law with the permission of the Beis Din, and the Beis Din can he says, and if there is no Beis Din, he can even go to a non-Jewish court. So it all depends on how the parties conduct oneself with one another, how the things proceed. But we're talking over here just now in Bava Metzia is we're talking about somebody who has an obligation, and he's facing his obligation, and he wants to pay up his obligation, not trying to avoid. So then the Pele Yoetz says it's proper for the person and also for the Beis Din to act with him in a way of righteousness, and allow him the time to repay in installments, and not to come down on him and extract everything all at once. That's how I'm understanding it. Okay. All right, we have one paragraph here on page 340 at the end of this section. Behold. Lou, would you like to read for us?
Behold, I, the humble one, am capable of exempting the entire world from justice according to an established halakhic principle. A person who says mistakenly that something is permissible is considered a non-volitional offender. Since the way of a man is right in his eyes, he is essentially like one who says that something is permissible and as such would be considered a non-volitional offender. Few are the people who know their master and intend to rebel against him. However, this principle applies only to individuals who give other people the benefit of the doubt, are not particular about anything, and suppress their negative personality traits. Then heaven overlooks this person's wrongdoings in accord with the statement of our sages. The way a person treats others is the way he will be treated by heaven. If he judges people disfavorably, then he is judged disfavorably. If he judges people favorably, then he is judged favorably.
Okay. So we got two Gemaras over here that he's quoted over here.
Makos and Megillah.
Yeah, what? Just trying to figure out what he's saying though, before we go to the Gemaras. Why did it? What does he want from this Gemara in Makos? He says, I can exempt the whole world from judgment. I'll pay my the kaimalon. Based upon this, what we say in this Gemara in Makos. Omer muter onushu. That's what the Gemara says.
I think it's saying that we give the person the benefit of the doubt and assume that he made an error without realizing it, and therefore we're going to judge him favorably under condition that he judges other people favorably. But if
Okay, very
he
good.
doesn't judge other people favorably, then heaven does not judge him favorably, and he's held liable.
Right.
And that second point is coming from Megillah.
Yiddish other modid bo modidin lo. Im dan lekaf chova, dan in also lekaf chova. Gemara Megillah. Okay, so okay. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look at these Gemaras and see how they pan out over here. We have a Gemara in Makos, we have a Gemara in Megillah. Okay. All right. Okay, Makos, Zion Ahmed base. Omer mutter onusu. Omer mutter. Okay, it's about 10 lines down from the top of the page on Zion Amid base. Abaya said, we're talking about the Omer mutter. What's mutter? Mutter to murder. Imkain onus who? He's an onus. He's not liable. He did not know about the prohibition against murder. So why do we call in the Mishnah that he's amazing, that he's a willful violator? He's not. Amalei, he says back to him, Shiny Omer, Omer mutter korav lemezidhu. So there's a difference of opinion on this matter. First of all, Rabba disagrees with Abaya. Rabba says that someone who says Omer mutter, he's korav lemezid. He's not really an onus. He's in fact, onus is like it was beyond his ability to control himself. He's not liable. He's an onus. But that's what Abaya says. But Rabba says no. Rabba says that Omer mutter, if he says that this was mutter, karav lemezidhu, he's close to being a willful violator.
My footnote says he's closer to being willful than he is to being accidental.
Right. Mazid means that he's willful. Yeah, this is the whole Gemara over here in Makos about a person that goes to Golus for being a horeg b'shogeg, a murderer who murdered in a way of shogeg, not a non-willful thing. The classic case about he's doing his axe work in the forest over there. He's cutting his wood, and the thing and it flies off the handle and it hits somebody, and that's the more or less the case over there. The Gemara goes into details and trying to figure out, is this an onus? Is this a mazid? Is this a shogeg? So in the course of that discussion, the Gemara mentions this case about somebody who says Omer mutter. He says he didn't hear about this, that murder is forbidden. Okay, so anyway, that's the idea. That's the idea. And that's the idea. Okay, fine. So that's what the Pele Yoetz is using over here. The Omer mutter is he's going with Abaye Omer Mutter is an onus. And then he tries to explain what's the onus about it. He's sort of like, he's darshaning a little bit and saying person always thinks that everything that he does is proper thing to do. And so in a sense, he's also like an onus. Because he thinks he thinks everything he does is proper. So that's the person who says, Omer Mutter, it's Mutter what I do. Everything that I do is Mutter. It's proper. So he's under that impression, because that's the way he views himself. And so therefore he does it like that. He doesn't think it's wrong. Okay, so what do we want with that? We say, oh, so this person, he'll get the benefit of the doubt. We'll look at him like Abaya looks at him, not like Rava looks at him. Rava says, oh, this guy, he says Omer Mutter, he's almost amazing. He's much closer to being a willful violator than he is to being a accidental or unintentional violator. We're looking at it the way Abaya looks at it. We're giving him the benefit of the doubt. We're saying, yeah, that's the way people do it. That's the way they think. And he could be excused. But the Pele Yoetz adds, who is it that we're going to excuse like that? Who says Omer Mutter is an onus? Only somebody who looks at it like that with other people. If he looks at it that way with other people, so then in Shemayim they'll say, oh, well, that's the way he looks at people. We'll also look at him in that way also. And that's the Gemara in Megillah. Gemara in Megillah, Yud Beis, Amid Beis. B'midah she'adam moded bo modedin lo. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's about also about 12 lines from the top of the page. I missed it. B'midah she'adam moded bo modedin lo. Right, the Gemara is going over the whole story with Vashti and Achashverosh. That Achashverosh demanded that Vashti come out wearing just the royal crown, and she decided she wasn't going to do that, and she was executed. So why did that happen to her? Why was she put into that situation like that? So the Gemara says, "B'midah she'adam moded bo modedin lo," because in that very same midah that a person himself uses, bo modedin lo, when that midah they also do with him in Shemayim. They judge him in that way. Malamed, that teaches us, Shehaisa Vashti, Harasha, Mevia, Benos, Yisrael, Umafshitan, Arumois, Ba'osa, Behen, Malacha, B'Shabbos. The Gemara reveals that Vashti's practice was to force Benos Yisrael, Jewish girls who were in her employ, to do malacha on Shabbos unclothed. Hainu diksiv achar advarim ha'ele kashel chamas hamelech Achashverosh zocher es Vashti ve'es asher asasa ve'es asher nigzar aleha. And that's also alluded to in the pasuk. Kishem she'asasa kein nigzar aleha. Just like she did, that is how she was judged and decreed upon. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. So that's the bottom line. Okay, good. So we have some time, a little bit of time left. Let's start Hoser. Alan, would you like to start Hoser? Bottom of page 340.
Okay. Imperfection. There is no man who does not have some imperfection in character or intellect. Every man is deceitful. Tehillim 116:11. Just as smoke, it is impossible to have grain without straw and wood without smoke. So there is no man who does not make a mistake. There is nothing perfect in the world except the rock, whose actions are perfect because of all his ways are just. The Varm. Therefore, a person should not condemn a man who possesses some flaw, for he too has imperfections. Man sees all afflictions except his own. From the game 2.5. A person does not see his own fault. It is possible that his failing is considered greater than his friends relative to his personal status. Each person has an obligation to reflect, to understand, and to realize what he is lacking. If he does not understand on his own, then he must listen to sound advice by going to wise men and becoming wiser. Alternatively, he can ask that if anyone identifies some fault in him, he should kindly inform him. If someone tells him one of his shortcomings, he must have become angry, as is a custom of ignoramuses. A person should not desire that others merely stroke his ego with vain and deceptive compliments. For this is the way of the wicked. He must be God-fearing man, one who admits the truth, even if it does not register in his head, and his path is upright in his own eyes. He must accept the truth from a person who is greater than he is in wisdom and years, and negate his opinion upon theirs. He must improve his ways, habits, and actions from day to day until he achieves his level of perfection. Behold, us sages in Tana Devei Eliyahu, Rabbah, Parak 25 said, a person is obligated to exclaim, when will my deeds reach the level of the deeds of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov?
Wow. Magia, Matai Magia Masai Lamasa Abosai. Wow. Okay, so very good. That's what it is, a person, and we can also take a bit of consolation for ourselves that if we make a mistake, not to be too hard on ourselves and beat ourselves up for making a mistake. Because what does it mean that a person makes a mistake? It just means that he's a person and he's not Hashem. Because only Hashem does not make mistakes. And the person, that's what he does. He makes mistakes. And that was on the hotline actually yesterday. That was he says this is the number one Eitzah of the Yetzer Hara today, to get people to discredit themselves and beat themselves up. And he says that it doesn't produce anything good. It gives the person the feeling that he's not capable of doing anything, and he's worthless, and it's not good for his avodas Hashem to think like that. Person should think that he is capable and he can accomplish, and he is good, and that will be the way that he will be able to do more in avodas Hashem and constantly be better and better. So that's from the hotline. And now it's 11:30, and we say goodbye to Mayor for today. Yom
Okay.
Shlishi.
Have a good day, everybody.
You too.
Thank you.
All the best, Mayor.
Have a good day, Mayor.
Bye,
Okay.
Mayor.
Be well.